Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain My Brother Loves Me Too Much. This movie tells the story of a high school girl named Satoka Tachibana who has confessed her love to many boys but is always rejected. On the other hand, Satoka's brother, Haruka Tachibana, really loves and cares for his little sister. Even Haruka is very protective of Satoka and dislikes her closeness to other boys. But it turns out, Haruka has been hiding an important secret from Satoka. One day, Satoka's first love, Tain Sarikawa, appears and confesses his love after many years. Will Satoka accept Tain's love, and will Haruka just let her be? Let's find out in My Brother Loves Me Too Much. My Brother Loves Me Too Much begins by showing a high school girl named Satoka Tachibana who is heading to her school by bus. Satoka is a beautiful girl, so boys around her always try to approach her. There is no exception for a boy named Suzuki, a school friend of Satoka. Suzuki openly expresses his love for Satoka on the bus, although previously, he had rejected Satoka who confessed her love for him. When Suzuki tries to ask Satoka out on a date, the bus suddenly moves unsteadily, causing Satoka and the other passengers to panic. While looking outside to find out what happened, Satoka saw her brother, Haruka Tachibana, kicking the bus while riding his bicycle. Luckily, no one was injured in the incident, although Haruka's actions were quite dangerous to himself and others. Arriving at school, Haruka then warns Suzuki not to approach Satoka anymore. According to Haruka, Suzuki doesn't deserve to be with his sister after rejecting Satoka some time ago. Meanwhile, Satoka is visited by two boys who also express their love for her at school. They are Chiaki Miyoka, a young man who always plays with women's feelings, and Tain Sarikawa, Satoka's first love who also rejected Satoka's declaration of love some time ago. Chiaki and Tain seem to openly approach Satoka with their respective styles, where Chiaki is always romantic and says sweet words. At the same time, Tain is always cool and tries to impress Satoka with his good looks and wealth. Not only Chiaki and Tain, but Satoka apparently also made an apprentice teacher named Yutaka-sensei fall in love with her. However, the possessive Haruka always appears there and tries to keep Satoka away from the boys who try to approach her because Haruka doesn't want his sister to be close to other boys. Haruka will beat up anyone who dares to disturb Satoka. Even he firmly says that no one can make Satoka cry but himself. One day, Satoka and Haruka plan to go to a fireworks festival. On the way, they meet Tain and Chiaki who are also about to head to the festival. The three of them then do a lottery to determine who will accompany Satoka during the festival. Chiaki got the first turn, Tain got the second turn, while Haruka was forced to give in and got the last turn. Chiaki and Satoka seemed to enjoy their company by participating in some games at the festival. Meanwhile, Tain invites Satoka to pray at the temple, and after that he kisses Satoka. Haruka, who saw their togetherness, seemed to hold back his anger and jealousy because he actually really loved Satoka. Haruka turns out to have known that Satoka is not his biological sister and chooses to keep it a secret from her because he doesn't want to make her sad. As Satoka descended the shrine steps, she suddenly slipped and fell. Haruka swiftly saves Satoka and ignores his injured hand from the incident. Haruka was immediately taken to the hospital for treatment. Not long after, Chiaki came there to ask them how they were. Satoka then asked Haruka's permission to discuss something important with Chiaki alone, to which Haruka agreed. Satoka apparently asked Chiaki not to approach her anymore because she had made her choice on Tain. Chiaki suddenly looked gloomy when Satoka said this. Although feeling sad and disappointed, Chiaki accepts Satoka's decision and choice with grace, trying to let her go. While at home, Satoka tries to help Haruka while taking a shower because Haruka's hand has not fully recovered. After finishing, Haruka suddenly hugged Satoka from behind and told her not to go on a date with Tain. Hearing this, Satoka was silent. Satoka's feelings became mixed when her brother hugged her. However, she tries to dismiss these feelings because she thinks they're siblings. The next day, Tain comes to Satoka's school in a luxury car to ask her out on a date. Everyone seems impressed by Tain's good looks and wealth, except for Haruka, who looks annoyed and jealous. Haruka then warns Tain to always take care of Satoka and not make her cry. Tain then agreed. For their first date this time, Tain invites Satoka to dinner at a restaurant. However, Satoka doesn't seem comfortable there. On the other hand, Haruka looks aloof and considers that from now on, he will try to forget Satoka and give up the girl if she prefers to date Tain. After dinner, Tain took Satoka for a walk to enjoy the beautiful scenery at night. Tain intends to make love to Satoka in the car, but Satoka immediately refuses because she feels that she is not ready to do that with Tain. Because he got rejected, Tain was irritated and revealed a secret to Satoka, namely about Satoka, who is not the biological child of the Tachibana family. Satoka was adopted by the Tachibana family when she was 1 year old. Hearing this fact, Satoka immediately felt shocked and rushed home with tears in her eyes. Satoka then meets with Haruka and demands an explanation from him about her not being his younger sister. Haruka then confirmed Tain's words with a heavy heart and told her everything. Haruka also only found out about this fact not too long ago. Haruka then tells Satoka that his family will still love her no matter what happens. Satoka will always be part of the Tachibana family and will never change. However, Satoka still feels shocked and devastated because she is an orphan who has no family or relatives. The next day, Satoka looks gloomy and dreamy at school when her teacher announces something in front of the class. As it turned out, Yutaka-sensei's tenure as an apprentice teacher at Satoka's school would end on that day. After conveying this, Yutaka-sensei then approached Satoka and said that from now on they were no longer tied to a teacher-student relationship, so he then intended to openly approach her and try to persuade her to want to date him. But Satoka didn't care about his words because what was on her mind right now was Haruka. Satoka suddenly remembers the moments she and Haruka had together when they were little and realizes that her feelings for Haruka are not sibling affection. After that, Satoka was seen riding her bicycle at high speed, trying to find Haruka's whereabouts. On the way, Satoka recalls every moment of her togetherness with Haruka and realizes that Haruka must also harbor the same feelings as her. Hence, he is always possessive and protective of her. Satoka finally discovers the whereabouts of Haruka, who is having a one-on-one conversation with Tain in a church. The two young men were discussing their respective feelings towards Satoka. Realizing Satoka's presence there, Tain then asked her to come out of her hiding place. Satoka then apologizes to Tain for abandoning him while they are dating. Satoka revealed that she was still unsure of her feelings at that time. Tain seemed to understand and convinced Satoka to listen to her heart and not have to hide it anymore. Tain then tells Satoka that he can't have a romantic relationship with a girl who doesn't really love him. He finally gave up Satoka and advised Haruka always to take care of Satoka and never make her sad. After Tain left, Satoka then confessed her love for Haruka. However, Haruka thinks that Satoka loves him only as a brother, not a romantic feeling between a man and a woman. Satoka then tries to convince Haruka that she really loves him as a girl who falls in love with the boy of her dreams and really wants to date him. Hearing this, Haruka felt very happy and hugged Satoka tightly. Satoka and Haruka are finally officially dating and kissing for the first time. Long story short, Haruka and Satoka then ventured to tell their parents about their love affair. Their parents initially seemed surprised when they found out that Haruka and Satoka were dating. But apparently, their parents were not angry at all and approved of their relationship. Even their parents have discussed about their marriage, which might happen soon. Satoka and Haruka then feel very happy because their parents approve of their relationship and have planned for their future. One day, while walking together, Haruka reminisced about the past when he promised that he would marry Satoka one day. But Satoka doesn't remember the promise, so Haruka looks disappointed because Satoka forgot that beautiful moment. Feeling guilty, Satoka kisses Haruka passionately, and the film ends. The moral we can learn from this film is, don't expect too much to chase love that we are not sure to get, and try to observe the circumstances around us because who knows, our true love has been near us all this time, and we haven't realized it.